Welcome back to my channel. This is part 3 in a 4-part series on the music of Japan. The musical instruments of Japan. There is a striking semblance between the musical instruments of Japan and that of its surrounding countries. This is because most of the Japanese instruments were adopted from that of other countries. They have been modified a bit, but their main features remain recognizable. There are, however, musical instruments that are originally Japanese. In this presentation, the musical instruments of Japan will be presented using the hornbossel sax classification. Aerophones. Aerophone is a group of blown instruments that primarily produce their sounds by means of vibrating the air that is blown on them. The bodies of the instruments that belong to this group do not vibrate themselves, nor do they have vibrating strings or membranes. Ryutaki. The Ryutaki is a Japanese aerophone which literally means dragon flute. This bamboo flute is said to produce a music that represents the dragons that ascend the skies. This instrument is used in gagaku, the Shinto classical music associated with the imperial court of Japan. Its pitch lies between the pitches of two other flutes in gagaku, the kumabue and the kagurabue. Hichiriki. The hichiriki is a Japanese bamboo flute with double reed configuration, which makes this instrument challenging to play. This aerophone has a cylindrical bore, producing a clarinet-like sound. The haunting sound due to the bending of tones of a chiriki is facilitated by the embouchure. It is considered as one of the sacred instruments in Japan, usually heard during Shinto wedding rituals. It is also a part of the gagaku ensemble. Shinobue. The Shinobue is a fue or bamboo flute which is originally from Japan. The high pitch of Shinobue forms part of the harmony used in dance drama and theater performances. It can also be heard in Japanese folk songs and in the music of Shintoism. It is played horizontally like a metal flute, with the player blowing on the top of the mouthpiece, while the fingers of the right and left hands are used to cover the other 7 holes that can be found on top of this instrument. Shakuhachi. Shakuhachi is an end-blown Japanese bamboo flute. Usually it has a total of 5 holes, 4 on top and 1 thumb hole under. Originally, it was an ancient longitudinal Chinese bamboo flute that has undergone several scale modifications after it was introduced to Japan in the 7th century. This aerophone has been a companion in the blowing meditation or suizen of the Zen Buddhism monks. Sho. As a mouth organ, sho is a very versatile instrument that is able to produce colorful harmonies. It is derived from the sheng of China, although smaller compared to its Chinese counterpart. This instrument is made up of 17 slim bamboo pipes that are connected to a metal reed on their base. Sho produces a sound similar to the call of a phoenix, according to traditional Japanese belief. Some researchers believe that this is the reason why makers of sho retained the 2 silent pipes in the set so that they can look like symmetrical wings and visually represent the mythical phoenix. Chordophones. The next group of instruments in the hornbossel sax system is called chordophone. These are instruments that make sound primarily with the vibration of a string or strings that are stretched on top of a resonator. Koto. Koto, the national instrument of Japan, is a traditional Japanese chordophone that has semblances and similarities with the zeng of China, gayagum of Korea, danchang of Vietnam, and yatga of Mongolia. This instrument is made from kiri wood and with 13 strings. These strings are placed on movable bridges that are spread along the width of the koto. The bridges can be adjusted by the players to change the pitches of the strings before the koto is used. To pluck the strings of this chordophone, the players would wear finger picks or plectra on the thumb, index finger, and middle finger of the right hand. Biwa. Another stringed instrument used in Japan is the biwa, a chordophone with 4 strings. Its short neck is divided by 4 raised frets. It is played using a wooden plectrum controlled by the right hand of the player. It is believed that biwa is an instrument that received the favor of Benten, the Shinto goddess of music and education. Biwa is employed as an accompaniment for narrative storytelling. Shamisen. The shamisen or samisen is a 3-stringed flat-back lute which is based on the Chinese instrument sanshan. The player uses a plectrum in playing this chordophone, and it is used to accompany solo vocals and the kabuki play. Membranophones. The third group of Japanese instruments are the membranophones. They are instruments that produce sound coming from the vibration of their tightly stretched skin or membrane. The membranophone group basically includes all the drums, under which the number of drums of Japan are classified. Taiko. The term taiko refers to the broad range of percussive instruments of Japan. This term, when used inside Japan, is an inclusive or collective term that can be applied to any kind of drum. Outside Japan, the term is used either to refer to the members of da-daiko, or Japanese drums, or to the collection or set of drums known in Japan as kumi-daiko. Da-daiko. The da-daiko is an enormous drum that is kept hanging on a well-decorated frame. Its huge membrane is played with the aid of heavy lacquered beaters. The da-daiko forms part of the gagaku ensemble. Tsuzumi. Tsuzumi is a Japanese drum whose origin can be traced back to China and India. It is made up of wood with a structure that looks like an hourglass. The chords that can be found on the sides of the tsuzumi can be squeezed by the player to change the pitch produced by the membranes while the instrument is used. A larger version of tsuzumi is called otsuzumi or okawa. It is usually played in traditional Japanese theater and folk music. Shimedaiko. Japan also has a small drum called shimedaiko. The way the shimedaiko is made is similar to that of the talking drums of Africa, wherein cords bind the drum heads and are made very taut. The skin used for both sides of the drum is animal skin. The shimedaiko has much higher pitch than the other drums of Japan. Like other double-headed drums in Japan, shimedaiko is also played with the use of bachi or sticks. It is usually part of the different instrumental ensemble like the taiko and minyo ensemble. Kako. Kako is another double-headed membranophone of Japan. Similar to shimedaiko and tsuzumi, the membrane used in kako is stretched on the metal hoops, tied to each other and then stretched evenly by tightening the ropes around and across the two heads of the kako. Like other Japanese membranophones, the kako is usually laid on its side, placed on a stand, so the bachi or sticks can easily hit its heads. Kako forms part of the Japanese court music called gagaku and taiko or drum ensemble. Denden-daiko. Denden-daiko is a double-headed rattle drum with 2 separate pellets connected by cords on opposite sides of the drum. Once the long handle of the drum is turned side to side with the use of the player's palms, the pellets would strike the heads of the drum, and would create a rapid sound. Idiophones. Another grouping of Japanese musical instruments is the idiophone group. In the hornbossel sax classification, idiophones refer to instruments that produce their sounds by means of the actual body of the instrument vibrating, rather than a string, membrane, or column of air. In essence, this group includes all percussion instruments except the drums. Shoko. The shoko is a Japanese bronze gong that is suspended on a vertical frame. It comes in 3 different sizes. The shoko is played with the use of a pair of horn beaters. Other terms used to refer to the same instrument in Buddhism and in Japanese folk music are the terms kane and sho. Yoshigi. Yoshigi is a pair of wooden or bamboo clapper with its 2 pieces connected by a rope. They are played by either striking them against each other or by striking them against the floor. At times, the yoshigi are played slowly at the beginning of the song that becomes faster as the music goes on. Thank you for watching. Part 4 in this series will be about the different instrumental ensembles of Japan.